Okay, so welcome back to another video. It's been a while since I vlogged on this channel, and this time we're traveling to Sri Lanka. So I'm going to vlog this entire trip and divide it into multiple different videos. But the plan is we're going to Sri Lanka today. We're going to Colombo from Bangalore, about a 1 hour flight. The flight's at 9:05 and the time's about 5:30. So I'm going to go to the airport, we'll finish all the check-in and all of that stuff and fly all the way down to Colombo. From there, we're going to go to another place, a beach town called Bentota, where we're gonna spend about 2 days there and do a bunch of different activities, explore Sri Lanka. So along the way, I'm going to explain what our plan is, where we're going to explore and what part of the country we're going to explore. But as of now, we're just waiting for our cab so we can go to the airport on time and be there for the check-in and immigration. So I just finished my immigration and my security check and all of that stuff. I'm sitting at the airport and I got to say what has amazed me the most is the Bangalore airport. Like, it's just so well designed, so well maintained, and it's so well planned that even when there are several different international flights for departure, the immigration counters aren't even crowded. But it's currently about 6:50 a.m. in the morning, but there are only about 10 to 15 international flights departing within the next 3 to 4 hours. But as far as my trip is concerned, I finished all my check-in and my immigration, and I'm going to go to the gate. Before that, I'm going to grab some breakfast, go to the gate and board the flight. So I'm outside at the Bangalore airport's garden walkway. This is at the Terminal 2, and I've got my flight to board in another 30 minutes. So 8:05 is when the boarding starts, 9:05 is the departure time. So I'm just here taking a walk around this area, exploring the airport. Terminal T2 is an amazing place, and you can actually walk around. It's called a garden walk, which is basically an open pathway on a bridge where you can travel from different gates and just basically enjoy if you have a lot of time to wait for your aircraft to board. But anyways, that's about what I'm doing right now, and I'll talk to you guys either once I board the plane or once I get off at Colombo. I actually landed, came to the railway station, and I'm going to take a train from here, going to Bentota by train. So it's a mix of train and car, going by train to Gama and then from there to Bentota by cab. This is my first experience by Sri Lankan train, so we'll see how good it actually is. So this is the ticket to Gama. It costs about 300 Lankan rupees. Really slow. They don't move very fast, but fun. So I'm right now here at the Bentota beach. I reached my hotel, checked in, and I just came out here for a walk just to see how the beach is. Now it's a little dirty. It's not as dirty as most beaches that you would find in India, let's say for example. This is facing the west. It's a lot more rough than you would see when you're somewhere on the Bay of Bengal, for example. But anyways, it's about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I still haven't had my lunch because we just reached just about a half an hour ago. So I'm going to go eat my lunch, rest for a while before we can either go do some water sports out here in Bentota or just spend the evening on the beach and in the swimming pool. So I'll get back to you guys when I get into the room and explain all about how I got here and a little bit of useful information so that you guys can use it to plan your trip to Sri Lanka. In the evening, because of poor weather conditions, strong winds, rough seas, I had only one choice left, which is a speedboat ride to the sea mouth where the Bentota River meets the Arabian Sea. This, in my opinion, is a great activity if you are with a large group of travelers, with a family or a group of friends where you just want to spend the evening in a relaxed fashion without actually doing a lot of stuff. So here I am at a private jetty. I took a boat on the Bentota river here, which basically the ride takes you to the sea mouth where the river actually opens up and flows into the ocean on the west coast. So it was for about 30 to 35 minutes. And then you go back, you go all around the mangrove forests and all of that stuff. The important thing here to know is that in most of these places the rides are charged in dollars, and that's because it's just uniformity. It's just because there are so many people from international countries. The US dollar is something they feel it is a lot more uniform to charge customers with. Irrespective of that, that's what I did this evening. So I'm going to go grab some food. We're also going to eat some early dinner because we have to get ready for tomorrow, where we're going to take a smaller boat into the mangroves if we're lucky enough and spot some crocodiles. So all of that will be documented in tomorrow's episode. But as of now, I'll see you guys later. My travel is slightly different from what a lot of people do, or at least what a lot of people from India do, which is they land at Colombo, and depending on what part of Sri Lanka that they're planning on visiting for the duration of the trip, they're either going to take a cab, book a cab, or rent a vehicle and travel across the country. So how did I come all the way to Bentota where I am today? Well, I actually landed in Colombo airport and took an Uber to Colombo Fort railway station, right? And I boarded a train from the Colombo Fort railway station, which comes directly to a place called Aluthgama, which is just about 2.5 to 3 kilometers away from Bentota. Now, Bentota actually has its own railway station, but its frequency of trains from the fort or the Colombo Fort railway station to Bentota directly is very, very low. So you get off at Aluthgama. The ticket price was about 300 Lankan rupees per head for a second class ticket. Now, I don't know how many classes there are. When I went to the counter, this is what they gave me, and even the RPF or the Railway Protection Force and all the authorities on platform who I asked for guidance, they said you can buy a second class ticket for about 300 Lankan rupees. So I bought this ticket for 300 Lankan rupees, which got me all the way from Colombo's fort to Aluthgama. And I think it's a very economical and an amazing choice to make over driving down, and that's primarily because, as you've seen in the clips, the route that the train takes, it's literally on the beach. In fact, there have been places where I've seen that even the roads aren't as close to the beach as this railway track is. You have that tendency to actually get off the train and just walk into the beach when it stops at a signal. But if you are okay in doing so, you can actually do it because the locals are just so helpful when it comes to tourists. They speak good English. They're very helpful to people, and because this country's entire economy runs on tourism, they will be more than willing to help you. So my personal suggestion is, if you're coming to Colombo and you're coming anywhere down south, or for that matter anywhere in the country, travel by train. But because my personal experience of going down along the coast by train has been so amazing, I would definitely recommend this to you. If you really want to explore Sri Lanka, understand the people, interact with people, eat their food, see how the country is different from where you stay and where you come from, and if you want to save some money instead of spending thousands of Lankan rupees or hundreds of dollars on your taxi, just spend a lot less money on a train, get that experience. It's definitely worth it. That train, which took me about 2.5 hours, in fact, if you can hear it in the background, there's another train traveling behind, because where I'm staying, right behind this property, is the railway track. Now, Sri Lanka is a country where the railway tracks are just there everywhere. Like, everywhere in the sense they are part of the road. Like, if you're, let's say, walking or driving across, there is no actual separation between the railway track and the road. Well, in India, if you look at it, the railway track is at a height, or if it's at the same height of the road, there are barricades along, right? And that's for safety purposes and legal reasons and all of that stuff. But here in Sri Lanka, that doesn't exist. So there are places where railway crossings have got gates. There are places where they don't have gates, and the trains keep honking. There is no electric line here. It's all diesel operated trains, and it's all up to the motorists on the road to pay attention to the sound of the train and stop, right? But what I've observed here, which is the most amazing and impressive thing in a country like Sri Lanka, is two things. One is road discipline. People don't honk as much, or at least all of this is my opinion with respect to what I experience and what most of us experience when we're in India. So with comparison to that, people here don't honk. They're very respectful. They obey all the road rules. They use the indicators when, changing lanes and all of that stuff, which means driving here is a lot easier. Being a pedestrian here is a lot easier because it's a very, very walkable country, unlike India. And the other part is cleanliness, right? If you have traveled in Indian trains before, you know that they are the most disgusting railways in the entire world. As much as they're amazing, as much as they've got the largest network, the largest frequency and all of that, if you come to Sri Lanka, you're not going to find a thing on the track. And that, I feel, is just something that's there among the people. The people don't really have that need, or they don't really have that mindset to discard whatever they want, whatever they feel like, wherever they feel like. And that is something that I really appreciate of the people here. So I'm done with day one. It was a tiring day today because I started from Bangalore early in the morning, and it's already about 10:45 in the night, 10:45 p.m. here in Bentota. Tomorrow's plan is to go for the mangrove boat ride, which is basically through some mangrove forests and all of that stuff. And obviously I'll be putting that out in another video, which is part 2. So I'm closing part 1 right here because it's the end of the day. We've done a lot, right from coming all the way from Bangalore, traveling by train, talking to locals, buying some stuff, not too much, but buying some stuff, going for the boat ride that I showed you guys. And yeah, that's about it. Today was not more of like active, but then it was more about traveling, or all the way from Colombo to down south. But either ways, tomorrow is also a day where we're going to spend here at Bentota before the next day, day after tomorrow, which is that's going to be the third day of the travel, is when we're going to make our trip to Yala National Park. And like I mentioned, the benefits of the train, I'm planning on taking the train there too. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to this channel, and stay tuned for the subsequent parts of this series.